Hello, everybody. It's me, Roscoe, and it's time to sound the transfer klaxon as Town have made their third and fourth signing of the summer. Jacob Greaves from Hull City and Liam Delap from Man City, splashing the cash once again, both for 15 million. They'll obviously add-ons included, so I think Greaves could go up to 18, Delap could go up to 20 million. I'm here with Steve from good old Devon to bring you our reaction on that. Two new signings. Obviously last night and also this morning, Saturday. Unbelievable. Steve, thanks for joining me. How's things?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, excited. Saw the tweet about Delap this morning. Got quite excited. But yeah, it's all good. All good. Good to be back on the pod and talking a bit of Town and transfers and all the sexy stuff. So.
Oh yeah, sexy stuff indeed, and that's what we all want when it's summer window, when it's the off season. Really, pre-season they're back on the grass, the boys, but signings is what we want, and we've now got four in the door. Amari was first, then Ben Johnson. Or was it Ben Johnson first? Was it Ben Johnson first and Amari? No, it was Amari. Then it was Ben Johnson the next day, and then obviously Jake Greaves yesterday and Liam Delap this morning, or whenever you're watching this. Thanks for joining us live if you are. Get involved in the comments. You'll share your thoughts. But yeah, let's start, Steve, with Jacob Greaves, who is a quality player, I have to admit. He's centre-back, left side of centre-back, so Kieran McKenna will be happy about it. He's ticking that box. As I mentioned, 15 million from Hull City. He signed a 5-year deal, played more than 150 league games for his hometown club of the Tigers, championship team of the season, captained them a few times last year, so he brings that leadership. Thoughts on this one, my friend?
Top draw, absolute top. Another Ashton masterclass. He's swigging the oil, isn't he, Mark, at the moment? Yeah, fantastic player. Really, really good last season. When he played against us, you could see the qualities. Great distribution, good on the ball, left-sided. I mean, there aren't many English left-sided centre-backs of real quality. And we've just gone and taken one of the best in the Championship who's got the ability to step up to Prem. So, yeah, absolutely delighted. Brilliant signing. Bring it on. Can't wait to see him play. Should be really good.
Some people have spoke about him potentially doing the same sort of road as like Harry Maguire, because obviously he played for Hull City, went to Leicester, and he went on to obviously I think 80 million to Manchester United. And of course, he's a England international. But yeah, Jacob Greaves from the highlights. Once again, you can watch defender highlights, and they're maybe not as sexy as a striker scoring all the goals, but he's a player. I've spoken to a few Hull City people, and they said, yeah, he's just incredible in terms of just fighting for every ball, going for every tackle. He's a big lad. He's 6'4", I think. So he's going to be up there for set pieces. And as you mentioned, left side of centre back. It's very rare in this summer window. I don't think there's that many around, and obviously that's a position we need to strengthen in. So that's I said before, Kieran McKenna got that box tick now. He's got that left side of centre half.
I think it'd be interesting to see how he pairs up with Wolfie as well, because Wolfie's got the same kind of attributes, I think, but having someone play alongside him who's got, the talent that Greaves has got, maybe that will bring Wolfie up a little bit and get his levels to where we need him to be for the Prem. But yeah, amazing signing. Absolutely delighted that we got that one over the line. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I think he's another. He's only young. He's only 23, but he seems like another player that will bring the leadership. Obviously, as I said, a captained Hull a few times last year when I think Coyle, their skipper, was absent a few times. So he brings that extra bit of leadership. Obviously, Steve, he's not played Premier League football. He's only played Championship football, really. But we're going to have to bring players like that to, he's a team of the season. So McKenna would have seen him play week in, week out. Obviously played against us last year. But yeah, centre half is where we needed to strengthen. Obviously now with Ben Johnson at right back, we've got to bring Axel into centre half now. But overall, this is a signing for the future as well, because he signed that 5-year deal. We're going to go on to that later with Liam Delap signing a 5-year deal. But someone actually put in the chat, let me quickly bring it up. Where was it? Kingy here. These are also future-proof signings because, yeah, he signed a 5-year deal.
Yeah, and they seem to be doing it with all the players they're bringing in at the minute, which is, I mean, nobody wants to think about the inevitable fallout that if we were to not do well in the Premier League. I genuinely don't think we will get into that trap. But if it did happen, you've got players there in the squad who are good enough to be playing Premier League football. So Like, it's very sensible bit of transfer business, to be fair. And a lot of our players aren't, haven't got Premier experience. I mean, Johnson, we bought in from West Ham. He's played a reasonable number of Premier League games, but he's not played a lot. He's not like a proven Premier League player who plays week in, week out. None of our players have got that kind of experience, really. I don't think any of them have. So just getting the best quality that we can get and shopping in that kind of market, I think, will help us. So, but yeah, he'll be, looking forward to seeing him. Him and Axel and Wolfie will be.
Burgess? If getting Burgess?
Well, this thing is, like, where's Burgess going to play? I mean, I love Cam, but where's he going to play? Like, if you bring in someone like Greaves, who's left-sided, that's where Burgess has been playing. Like, I mean, it's,
You've got depth, though. Maybe depth.
It's
going to be interesting.
But that's the hard bit about when you go up through the leagues, isn't it? The quality gets better and the opposition get better, and you have to bring players in, and players that sometimes, maybe not at that level, they fall to the wayside. Not that I'm saying I want Cam to go anywhere, but having that depth there, you get an injury to one of them, and then you've got that ready-made backup there for the squad. So, and McKenna's going for those type of players, isn't he? Like, you talk about leadership, he's going for those people with the right
character,
character and mental aptitude, and so he's obviously done his homework on Greaves. So yeah, be nice to see him in the blue shirt.
Yeah, indeed.
Which I haven't got yet, by the way. I am close.
Okay, I've got the away shirt. The home shirt is still growing on me, ladies and gentlemen. But
the away shirt will be the one I get first, I think.
Yeah, Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
It is. It's a gorgeous bit.
Let's talk about some more sexy stuff. Liam Delap is the forward that obviously everyone's always wanting as well. Signed for Man City. Obviously spent last season on loan at Hull City, so he will know Jacob very well. So they're teammates last year. 21-year-old forward, signed a 5-year deal as well. As I said, 15 million, but that could potentially go up to 20 million with add-ons and stuff like that, appearances and just other clauses that may be thingy. Man City graduate, a few Premier League appearances under his belt. Wants to go make more cameos, but so you can't really tick, he's got Premier League experience, because he hasn't really. He's only played a few times. He's had loan spells at Stoke and Preston before. Last season, he actually scored against us in that crazy 3-3 draw, which was amazing. One of my favourite games last year. Scored 8 goals in 32 games. So not, scoring the goals for fun. But as we know, Steve, McKenna, his forwards don't need to score loads of goals. I think Liam also is a versatile player as well. He can play in different positions. He's very quick. But he's a big lad as well. But your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, similar to Greaves, really. I mean, there's another player with proven quality at championship level and a cut above really the rest of the players in the championship. So you don't get into the Man City academy and come through their ranks by being a bang average player. So getting him in, I think, is another really good bit of business. Another long contract. I think it'll be the rotational bit up front will be interesting. How McKenna plays that front kind of quartet of players, and where Delap will fit into that. Will he be a direct replacement for Hurst, or will he battle it with Hurst up front? And obviously Hamadi, I can't even say his bloody name.
Hamadi. There we go.
Yeah, that's the one. It's me who can't say the name, and you're the one who usually gets them wrong. So the rotation up front, I think, will be interesting to see where Delap plays. But he's got all the attributes. Another big lad, got a bit of pace, can hit the target. Again, another exciting young player to come in, which is interesting when you look at the sort of age demographic. Like, they are all young players. We're not signing journeymen or people who coming near the end of their career. Most of McKenna's signings have been that kind of under 25 bracket. Like another really, really good signing to have those two at the end of the week topped off a nice week. So should be good to see him again on the Portman Road pitch.
Yeah, and he's the son of Rory Delap, obviously. Someone put in the chat, let me quickly find it. Obviously, Rory, the man with the long throw-in for Stoke City. Let me quickly find it.
I've called it Rory loads of times when talking to
I'll probably do that.
Rory Delap, no, Liam Delap. It's not Rory.
I think when I was writing the notes, I put Rory, and I was like, no, that we're not signing Rory. Colin, good old Colin, said Delap will be better than his father, but two different players, Colin. Rory was a full back who threw long balls. Well, Liam is a forward in the making. So someone actually did ask this question, Steve. There we go. Promotion given with loads of R's. Think we're signing Delap to lead the line next season. What do you reckon?
I still think there's going to be another striker coming in, and a proven at whatever level centre forward, and not a player who can kind of play multiple positions. So I still think that might happen. If it doesn't, it's fine. Like, Hurst did fantastically for us last year, and then when Delap coming in as well, it gives you that kind of depth there. But will he lead the line? It's a big ask, isn't it, for any player who's never done Premier League football to come in and be the focal point and score the goals. Marcus Stewart hadn't done it at Premier League level, came in and was just an absolute god. So it can happen. I'm not sure whether Delap will be. I think they will get another player in. I think it will be a striker. It's all gone quiet on the front for the Greek lad as well, isn't it, from Panathinaikos? So, but yeah, I think they'll have another one in before the close.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be names getting thrown about and on the dashboard that Mark Ashton's got. I'm going to quickly go back to Greaves because this is actually a good point. Although I don't see him playing there that often, but this is from Port Smith. Greaves can play on left wing, or I think it's more like left back because I think he's played there a few. Suspect he will move on if Leaf comes off and Cam will slot in centre. So yeah, that could be a potential one where Greaves can slot in there if Leaf leaves a little breather.
For quite a bit last year when they had some injuries. So. I'm not sure whether he's pacey enough. I mean, he's a big lad. You don't see very many tall.
I think maybe just to shore up the defence, like we're trying to, keep the lead or something. Maybe it's perfect. We won't need him flying up and down like Leaf because Leaf, that's what he does. So that's another option. That is another option. We actually got another question as well. This is actually on a centre back. This is from James B. Good old James said, "Can you see Edmondson moving on? He could be in that danger zone where you're like, ooh." You could bring in our centre half here. Emerson, I think he could do well though in the Premier League. Emerson potentially, I think he's got that build and everything.
Whether he will move on or not, I don't know. I think that will be his choice if he wants to go. I think McKenna likes him, so it's just where does he fit in? Like, but then you've only, as I said earlier, you've only got to get an injury or two, and then you're up against it if you haven't got the depth. So, would you rather be playing Championship football or top end League One, but Edmondson's miles better than top end League One, or be on the bench and be part of a Premier League squad that takes everyone by surprise next season and does well, which I'm hoping will be the case.
Yeah, that's what we do hope. Big thing though, Steve, out of these two new signings, together £30 million. So we knew that already with Murray Hutchinson. When we slashed it, we broke our transfer record for him. We've now, in the space of 24 hours, we've just spent 30 million on two players. But two, young, promising players who have got 5-year deals behind them. It's just a whole different world, isn't it?
It just makes you think how lucky we are now to have Game Changer. And those guys involved in the club. I hate looking back on the Evans era, but you look back on then, we were struggling to come to agree personal terms for players, and now we're in a position where we're paying out 20-30 million for players, and I think they'll do it again. I think it'll get broken again before the start of the season. I think they'll bring another player in, but they put their money where their mouth is. You kind of think it might be a little bit easier at League One level to kind of throw some money at it and get to a point where you actually can achieve stuff. But they did the same last year, and they don't go mad. They're not spending stupid money. And 20-30 million for a player in the Premier League is not mad money. You're looking at, if you look to sign a Greaves equivalent from the Prem, you'd be paying 50 easy to get someone with that kind of skill set. So. Yeah, it's amazing, really, where the club is. Like we're talking about players of that caliber. That 10 years ago, 5 years ago, where were we fishing there? Bargain basement for players who were coming to the end of their careers, or on loan or whatever, and we're just taking the, bit part players from other clubs and getting them for 6 months and then letting them go. So it's amazing stuff. They've just changed the club from top to bottom, and it's really nice to be proud to be an Ipswich fan. I actually wore my shirt out the other day. There were years where I would not have worn a Town shirt out. I mean, in Plymouth, definitely not when we were in the same division. But yeah, you're just proud to support the club and let people know that you do support the club. So
yeah, I think these are statement signings, and obviously future, proof signings, as someone mentioned, because they are young players, but they've got room to improve. McKenna obviously can do that with the players. I think good characters, obviously all of one cat like Liam Delap is an England under-21 international. So yeah, it'll be interesting. All the best to both of them. Hope they do well. Shall we quickly talk about a player that was potentially going to sign, was be part of that Jacob Greaves double deal? It looks like he's set to return to his former club, Aston Villa, who obviously had a buyback clause. Now a Hull City player, obviously. But yeah, he's looking set to head back to Villa Park. Steve, you disappointed about this one?
I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised. I mean, Hull City fans must hate us, mustn't they, at the minute, with the players we've taken off them. They're pretty much two of their best three. I'm not surprised. I mean, if he's got the opportunity to go back to Villa, the only thing that surprised me with him going back to Villa is they were happy to offload him a year ago. And you think, would you, like they say, never go back to your previous employer, don't they? Like, I know they're going to be playing Europe. Yeah, they're going to be playing Europe, and money, says a lot. But yeah, Unai Emery, good manager. You kind of make sense, and he obviously knows the club inside out from when he was there. Will we miss him? We never had him, so we won't miss him. And who would he taken the place of in that front three or four? Would have been an interesting decision for McKenna to make, but I don't think the agent handled it very well. I mean, there was all sorts of cobblers going around when there's photos of him here, there, and everywhere. But it's the downside of having agents involved. They have to be there, but it's not great for the fans, because then it's just a circus, really.
Yeah, it was. We confirmed it as like a transfer saga. When it's multiple stories happening and multiple things getting spoken about, it's like, oh god, here we go. We've got the saga of the transfer window, one that we could have signed. I will admit, a bit disappointed in a way, because when I was watching his more highlights and watching other things, I thought, oh, he'll be a brilliant player for us. But Champions League football, returning to Aston Villa, maybe probably doesn't have to move anywhere, because obviously he went to Hull, but that's not too far from the Midlands, is it? But it's one of those. I'm sure. Hopefully there'll be. I know there's some people going, "Oh no, that means that's the target. We've been working on this for the last few weeks. That's one target gone." But I'm sure that the club are working on the targets.
They haven't got 3 or 4 players in that pipeline, have they? He'll have irons in every bloody fire, Ashton. So, and that was kind of the thing that reassured me that we don't get Philogene, but it wouldn't surprise me if he's got somebody else lined up. That they're working on. So disappointed, but I kind of understand it from his point of view. He's a young kid, like, get the opportunity to play Champions League football. You'd be mad not to, wouldn't you?
Yeah. We'll see what happens with Jaden with Villa. And obviously we'll come up against Town at some point if he is playing for them. Shall we talk then, Steve, about what's next? Because we've brought in a right back, versatile, defender. If Ben Johnson obviously can play centre half if needed, I think can also play left back. I think can also play holding midfield if we really need to, if we're desperate. Obviously Amari, that versatile forward. Jack Greaves, left side of centre half, and then Liam Delap, who is forward but also can play on the wing if needed. So that's 4 good bodies in the building. What next? Obviously, goalkeeper is the big talking point, with Vaz obviously not signing a new deal. Christian Walton and Kieran Slicker, the 2 goalkeepers that we've got in the building. Obviously, Kieran Slicker is more looking likely he wants to go out on loan and get more game time. Kieran actually will know Liam Delap, obviously both Man City together. Christian Walton obviously come back from that injury, didn't play all last season, really only played cup games. Would you say goalkeeper is on your sort of top of the list in terms of priorities?
Yeah, keeper is definitely the number one. I mean, if we didn't get one and it was Walton and Slicker, that would concern me, because I think obviously Walton was at Brighton, so he was in a Premier League squad. And I'd rate Walton. I like him. I think he's a good keeper. And if it hadn't been for the Vaz superstar show when he came into the squad and just into the team and played out of his skin, I think Walton would have been potentially the keeper for us last year as well at the end of the League One as well. But keeper is absolutely, I think, the next one they need to, or they need to be working on it to get a good keeper in. A couple of rumours of keepers that are linked, but until they're actually announced and put over the line, no point really talking about them. But yeah, keeper would be one. The one after that, I think, if you look at the way that we've signed players, we've signed top end and back, back four, back five. Nothing really centre mid. And if you think about where battles will be won and lost in the Premier League, it will be in midfield. And if you could be great up front and you could be really solid at the back, but if you're getting overrun in midfield, that makes it incredibly difficult. So it would not surprise me if there's a centre mid and coming in to sit alongside Morsey. Longo, great player, fantastic, did really well for us. Taylor as well. So we've got some players in there, but I think if I had two players to sign, it would be a keeper and a centre mid to go alongside Sammy.
Definitely. And talking about Sammy, there's been reported from those of the days, Sammy Smodix, a player that Town could look at. Obviously, a localish lad, obviously was at Colchester and Peterborough, but now he's at Blackburn. Scored against us, actually. Or no, didn't score against us. Did he? Oh, he scored against us loads of times, but obviously Blackburn did really well there. A lot of people in the chat, so I'm not going to ignore it. We've got to talk about it. But yeah, a player that, do you like?
Yeah, I do. Genuinely do. When the rumour came out, I think it was Phil who kind of put that out there, saying that they were putting a bid in for him. I mean, if the money put in that announcement is true, then that is an absolute steal. Was it 6 million plus add-ons? That is mental. He's a very, very, very good Championship player and tore some teams apart last year. So again, where he'd sit in our setup, I'm not too sure, because you're going to end up having to displace players that have probably been very good for us over the last 2 seasons. So big step up to the Prem. Can he do it? I think he's probably another one who's got the ability to do it. Young as well. Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see whether that does turn into it. I mean, there's the noise around it is he doesn't like Ipswich because he's a Colchester United lad. But at the end of the day, it's a job, and you're getting paid, and you're playing for a team in the Premier League. Again, if he got offered the opportunity, I think he probably would take it. And he is a good quality player. I mean, all season, big fans were talking about him, like, who could we get in before we got promoted? And Smodic was always one that people talked about. So, yeah, if it happened, I'd be really pleased. I'd just be interested to see where McKenna puts him if he did get him. That would be the biggest challenge, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously last year he was scoring for fun, 27 goals in the Championship, I think 33 in all competitions. So, he's got that. And obviously he's 28, so he's at that different age of maybe a player that we'll look at. But I think he's 29 in September, but he's a player that, if he's got an opportunity to play in the Premier League, he's going to probably jump at it and maybe getting closer to home, moving closer to home because he's a Colchester boy. But yeah, watch this space later, and we'll see if there's any more in that. I know a lot of people would put in the chat about Flynn Downs. Obviously, you were talking about that holding role, Steve. He's a player we spoke about on the pod, I think last week or week before. Obviously, West Ham player, but obviously was spent last season at Southampton. Yeah, we shall watch the space on him as well.
Yeah, Flynn's an interesting one, isn't it? Because he got absolutely slated when he left. But I think if you look back at it, look at the era he was playing under, the regime, the way the club was being run, it was a S show, wasn't it? So not surprised he kind of looked. I mean, he is a quality player. I genuinely would love to see him play alongside Morsey. Whether they might be too similar, you could argue maybe. Would he want to leave West Ham? I don't know. He was obviously at loan at Southampton, but I think if he was to come back, I think the fans would embrace it. I mean, he's still an Ipswich boy, and people still, I think, really rate him. I think a lot of fans were just angry when he went because he was probably one of our best players at the time, and people have long memories. But I don't know. Flynn would be a great signing if we could get that in. I think the X or whatever they want to call it, Twitter now, would explode. I think if we got him back with very different views from fans.
Yes.
There's some for it, some against it.
Yeah. Now, watch your space there, gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed this new sort of lives we're trying to do after announcement. It was my birthday yesterday, so I couldn't do a live with Greaves. I was, had a few pints and I eaten some steak, so I couldn't do that when out there. But yeah, 2 in the door though in the last 24 hours. We mentioned Liam Delap and Jacob Greaves. Steve, any other business from you? 4 in the door, as I said. You happy with the business so far?
Very happy. I think it's just the start. I think we're probably another 2 or 3 players will come in. I mean, you could argue we might need more than that, but I'm happy with those 2. Out of the 2, I would say Greaves was the one that I'm most happy about. I think he was absolutely needed. If we're going to be challenging next season, we need a strong defence, and Greaves, I think, will give us that. So, yeah. Apart from that, no other business. Stressing about whether I'm actually going to get out to Portman Road this season. Just not going to get a ticket. It's going to be bloody ridiculous. But and trying to work out which away games I can possibly get to with my meager points total. But yeah, we'll give it a go and see if I can get some games this season. It'd be good to see you guys in person again.
Definitely, Steve. Yeah, if you can help Steve, obviously he lives in Plymouth, so it's a long way. So, but yeah, if you can help him out, then get in contact with Steve. You can see his Twitter handle there. So, yeah, get in contact if you can help. Also, just want to sort of shout out the women's team. They made some signings yesterday as well. Just before Jack and Greaves got announced, the club signed 3 new women's players. Shauna Gayet signed centre midfielder. Angela Anderson, who's an attacking midfielder, and Grace Garrod, who's a defender. All got championship experience, WSL experience. Also, the women's team are going for it this season. So 3 new signings. I'm hoping to do a new podcast soon, try to go to a podcast soon to talk about those signings in more depth. But I just thought I'd quickly mention them because, yeah, there was a busy day at the club. The last 24 hours, 5 players in the door, 2 for the men, 3 for the women's team. So there we go. I think that's it. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining me, Steve. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend. England, Steve, big game tomorrow. What do you reckon? Put you on the spot here.
I think it's going to be a 2-2 after extra time and then go to penalties. And then we'll win. We just need to do what we did in the first half against Holland and take it to them. Because when we play against teams that when England play against teams that are trying to play football, I think generally the players we've got will relish that. It's when teams sit back and then we sit back and it's just turgid, isn't it? But we're getting better the whole way through the tournament. I'm quite excited about tomorrow. Sunday tomorrow. So fingers crossed we can win it, and then we can all celebrate Sir Gareth knighthood and the statue outside Wembley.
We shall see. But yeah, if you are watching the game, I'm sure you are, everybody. Enjoy it. Hopefully it is coming home. We shall see how it goes. Steve, thanks again. Thanks again for watching another live. I'll be back for more content throughout the summer, of course. Check out, I've also got some insight videos coming with Jacob Greaves and Liam Delap. Spoke to Hull City commentator James Fletcher to get some more insight on both those signings. So check them out. They're available to subscribers on our website and all that jazz. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend. The sun is not shining, so that's annoying. But hope you have a good one.